Paul Merson and Chris Sutton make Arsenal, Chelsea, and Tottenham predictions as Cole Palmer claims made. A look at the pundit predictions for Arsenal, Chelsea, and Tottenham's Premier League games this weekend. Another big weekend off Premier League action awaits, and this is the final round of action before the final international break of the year takes hold. Arsenal and Chelsea face off in the headliner, going head-to-head on Sunday, currently separated by just goal difference. Tottenham play before that, and they will be looking to build on that big win over Aston Villa with another 3 points as they take on newly promoted Ipswich Town. Here, we round up the predictions for those games from Paul Merson at Sportskeeda, Chris Sutton on BBC Sport. Tottenham vs Ipswich Town. Chris Sutton: I got a lot of stick for saying I supported Nottingham Forest last week as well as a few of the clubs that I played for. Norwich, Blackburn, and Celtic, and regular 5 Live listeners will know that I have been accused of having Tottenham as another one of my teams. They aren't, but I make no apologies for being a fan of Spurs' Bosanj Postecoglou and his style of expansive football. At times, it is crazy with the risks they take, but I love watching it. My Canaries connection means no one is going to ever mistake me for an Ipswich fan, so this may shock a few people, but I felt sorry for them last week. They have briefly come out of Norwich's shadow to reach the Premier League and are desperate for their first win of the season, but they were on the wrong end of a couple of shocking late decisions in their draw with Leicester. They have the advantage of not having European football this week. They have not had to worry about that for more than 20 years while Tottenham play Galatasaray in Turkey on Thursday. I still think Spurs will win though, and Ipswich will be back in the Championship with Norwich next season. Prediction: 3-1. Paul Merson: I expect Tottenham to win this game quite comfortably. I don't know how Ipswich are going to survive. They dominated the game against Leicester last weekend, but ended up shooting themselves in the foot and conceded a late equalizer. That's a big problem for them. When you look at Spurs' fixtures so far this season, you'd have expected them to be higher up the table. They got a good win over Aston Villa and have managed to win 4 out of their last 5 games across competitions. Spurs are certainly on the right track, but let's not forget that they are also the team that drew with Leicester and lost to Crystal Palace. You don't know what you're going to get from them. They also have a really tough game away from home to Galatasaray in the Europa Conference League coming up. But still, expect Tottenham to get the better of Ipswich. Prediction: Tottenham Hotspur, 3-1 Ipswich Town. Chelsea vs Arsenal. Chris Sutton: I don't do this very often, but my prediction here rests on whether one player is fit or not. Chelsea Cole Palmer. Arsenal have a doubt over Declan Rice, which is a worry for them, and Martin Odegaard will be rusty after returning from his layoff with a brief appearance against Inter Milan in midweek, but it is Palmer who holds the key. You are asking me to make a prediction, and I don't know which gun I've got, a bazooka or a water pistol. Palmer has missed training this week after getting injured against Manchester United last weekend, and Chelsea need him if they are going to win this. Even if Palmer is absent, I don't think Arsenal will win. What worries me about them is what they do in the opposition box. They played well against Inter, but they came up short in front of goal, and they certainly aren't clicking in the final third. Prediction: 2-1 if Palmer is in the Chelsea team. 1-1 if he isn't. Final prediction will be made when the lineups are announced before kick-off. Paul Merson: This is a massive football match, especially because by the time it kicks off both Manchester City and Liverpool would have already played. Liverpool could go 10 points ahead. City could open up an 8-point lead if Arsenal lose to Chelsea. Arsenal got lucky last weekend after City also slipped up against Bournemouth, but they won't expect any such favors this weekend. Chelsea have lost all their big games this season, and they are in desperate need of a win. If Arsenal close Chelsea down quickly, the Blues could be in trouble. I think William Saliba and Gabriel will enjoy that battle with Nicholas Jackson. It won't be as easy for Jackson as it was against Newcastle in Chelsea's last home game in the league. Arsenal win this game if Cole Palmer doesn't play. It's as simple as that. The only way Chelsea have a chance is if Palmer plays from the start. He is the heartbeat, and he makes everything happen for Chelsea. I'm going for a draw here, Big result for Chelsea, but Arsenal will be out of the title race. Prediction: Chelsea 2-2 Arsenal. United vs Leicester. Ruud's press conference. For the final time, Ruud van Nistelrooy has held a pre-match press conference as Manchester United's interim head coach. The club legend sat down with journalists inside the Jimmy Murphy Centre to preview Sunday's Premier League fixture against Leicester City. We've seen images today of Luke Shaw returning to training. With Lenny Yoro back, Mason Mount, it seems the injuries are easing at just the right time with Ruben coming in. Yeah, and also for me, I have to say, yesterday we had a lot of benefit from Christian playing 30 minutes. Obviously Ugarte and Mason making his first minutes again. That benefited us as well. So I'm glad that they're back, and also, for a little bit longer future, good that Luke and Lenny are on the pitch. We asked you last night about Ahmad. What's the assessment in Kobbie Mainoo? How he's doing? How's his progress? Yes, Ahmad was assessed. Still working on him to get him ready for Sunday. Hopefully it will work. Kobbie is also progressing in his injury. He's making the right steps. Not yet with the team, though. That needs a bit more time. Ruud, obviously this is your final match in interim charge. It'll be emotional on Sunday, I'm sure. But for you, is it also a second farewell from Man United? Do you know what your future holds? First of all, it was a special period. It is still. I called it an important period because I think it was important to get through the 4 games as good as we could. I think we've done very well so far. The players reacted very well in the games. Obviously, the focus is now to build on that and show that on Sunday with a big game ahead and a massive 3 points that are there to win. So, yeah, I don't know if it will be very emotional. I take it very pragmatic as well. Although I'm very proud to be able to fulfill this. We'll see how that will feel on Sunday, and other than that, there's not much more news than yesterday evening, where I think Ruben and I are both focusing on our teams and our games. He's focusing on Braga with his team, and I'm focusing on Leicester with my team. We'll see if things come together in the future. Ruud, it seems you've enjoyed this role. Would you one day like to think of yourself as a permanent manager of Man United? Yeah, of course. I thought this through well when I made the decision to come to United as an assistant coach. I thought that through. I knew that coming to Man United was for me, a special occasion where I felt I want to be part of this journey with the club, in an assistant role. I have clear ambitions to manage. I made the decision to sign a 2-year deal as an assistant, and I'm still in that frame of mind. To be fair, to stay in that capacity. This whole experience of being the boss, how do you rate it? Was it stressful? Have you enjoyed it? I've enjoyed it. It gave a lot of energy. I think the reaction of the players was outstanding. I think also as an assistant, you are quite close to players. So the past 3 months I spent a lot of time with the players and got to know them very well, as human beings, but also as footballers, where they are in their development and how I can help. And I think that relationship, that is helping. Now that we are together, and we want to achieve something together, that bond is there. That's what I feel, very supported. So that gives a lot of energy, and the support of the fans, obviously. That was amazing. So that gives a lot of energy, and the support of the fans, obviously. That was amazing. That gives also lots of confidence and energy. So far, so good. Any advice for Ruben Amorim? That's a good question actually. It's good to wrap it up after Sunday, and of course, I've been in for the 3 months in the season, and this short spell. From there on, I think it'd be very good to wrap it all up, and have that conversation. It's a good question. I'm going to start thinking about it. Ruud, it's great to share these moments. If you win on Sunday, you'll have the highest win percentage of any Man United manager in history. You'll go past Michael Carrick. That's not the question, by the way. What sort of state is the dressing room at the moment? Do you see optimism for the fans? I think if you look at, it's a results game in the end. I think the last 3 results were okay. We're through in the Carabao Cup. We're in the quarter-final there. It was a good point against Chelsea, where we felt we deserved more, and also an important win in the Europa League to help us get settled higher in that table to get us through the next round in January, hopefully. So, I think that momentum is changing a little bit. But of course, Sunday is also a competition where we need to do better than we're doing. So, as in the Carabao, where we needed to go to the next round and do good business in the Europa League with a win, that's Sunday. Rude, what has the last 8 or 9 days taught you as a coach, in your relatively fresh managerial career? I didn't really think about this. I think I'm so focused on getting the best out of the players, and with the staff members, and all together, we're working on getting United back on track in the short term, that I've not really reflected on that, to be fair. Of course, I learn a lot in the time that I'm here, from other coaches and from players, with the experience there is, and with the opinions they have.